Welcome to Sovereign Souls, a special podcast sponsored by the Spirit Release Academy, with your hosts, Jonno, Webster and Andy Porter.
In this episode, we have a very special guest, Kandise Crockett. Now, Kandise has been working in the medical fields for approximately 15 years. She is now opening her interest to the spiritual world, and certainly the world that we work. We'd like you to welcome Kandise. You are very, very welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. This is going to be a really fun and interesting conversation.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining, Kandise. Again, really, from our perspective, you're not really sort of our target audience to a certain degree, because obviously you don't really come in to this conversation in this field from a kind of spiritual perspective, where most of the people that we tend to meet with do. So do you want to give us like an opener, really, from you as to what led you into this type of work and how you found us, I guess?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I've always been very left brain, logical, always love math, one right answer. That's how it goes. Got fascinated with science, worked in the medical field. I was an ICU nurse for the majority of my healthcare career. I joined a couple of research teams doing different projects related to sepsis. And not only doing the work and realizing that we can change and improve practice, but just like getting that data, it really kind of scratched all my excitement of helping people and knowing that we have the numbers to support it. As far as getting into this line of work, I actually had a back injury, and I eventually had to get creative because the traditional modalities weren't working, and that led me to meditation and yoga. And so then my science medical brain is like, how do we explore this more? And so I read all the books and all the other things. And of course, that led me to you all, because you do have your background. You have a protocol. And in the medical community, the word protocol, that's important. You have to be consistency or have consistency with the way that you do things. I was hooked and I wanted to learn more, and I signed up for your class.
Thank you so much for sharing your background in this.
But nowadays, I feel like we have experienced so many different things. I'm the kind of person who doesn't research or hear one thing. I have to hear 10 to 20 things and then base my opinion on that. I read about 50 to 70 nonfiction books a year on anything, quantum physics, a lot of business, marketing, healing in this way. So I've studied a lot,
So I guess really from our perspective, Kandise, that's been a really important part of this conversation, I think, really. And hopefully the listeners that are listening to this have picked up on that as well. So what would you say kind of sets the spirit-guided remote spirit release protocol that we've basically created, apart from other types of healing modalities that you're aware of, really?
So I respect all energy modalities, and I don't want to talk poorly about anything. Consistency. So Reiki is 100-year-old plus practice, but it went from years of apprenticeship to now there are people who can get certified in a weekend online. And it's not, if you pass this, it's like, if you purchase this, you're certified. And so now there are fantastic Reiki practitioners. I go to one sometimes when I need like a fill up, I don't know. It's like, but with you, the protocol is consistent. You have to apply to your academy. You don't just say, you pay me money, I give you a certificate. You have to apply and you interview and you filter out people who you don't think is a good fit. And then once they're in your academy, they have to finish the work. They have to do case studies. They have to demonstrate that they can actually do this practice. And that sets you apart from so many other people, because usually once you click finish, that you print your certificate. And that's completely different. And that's the standard of what the community needs. This is more specific protocol, specific modality. You have to truly do the program, and you have to truly know what you're doing in order to call yourself a SRA practitioner. And that is the level of training that's needed to really push this forward, because there are spirit release modalities. Like some people do it in hypnotherapy, some people do it in Reiki, there's a variety of different ways, but we want to know from SRA practitioner so it doesn't get confused with anybody else doing something that they may have like learned in a less rigorous setting.
I think you're absolutely right. And for the reason that you've spoken of, this is why we protect the phrase spirit guided remote spirit release SGSR, because that is unique to us. That is unique to the academy, to the way that we work the protocol, to the way that we evolve it, which then also means it's unique to our practitioners. So we do. Yeah, this is the sole reason why we went through that, because spirit release covers a huge scope. And there are many, many modalities and many, many people that have their own interpretations. And one of the things that Andy and I say quite often is that when someone asks you what you do and you say you're a remote spirit release specialist, they often say, well, I do that. And we think, not the way we do. And it's not an arrogant comment. It's not meant to be anything else. The majority of people consider spirit release to be perhaps one level of work. Whereas, as you know, Kandise, in our protocol, we have over, of which the one level they're referring to is just one of our. So it's a very, very in-depth protocol that we have, and certainly working with Dr. Palmer. And this is really where people like you are going to come in. We have so many different types of practitioners that come through the academy, but we're getting more and more people come in with PhD level.
So I am that person who some people daydream about different things. I daydream about this kind of stuff. My husband actually teaches psychology through the Cambridge program. And it's really about empowerment, because these things are here, whether we say acknowledge it or not. And I think that creating that empowerment, we'll think of this kind of energy as casually.
I think you've completely wrapped it up in exactly the way that we think. Energy is everywhere. Multidimensional energy is everywhere. And I think the fear factor doesn't come from us, because we try and empower people. We certainly do not try and spread fear. We're here to help people understand that energy is there and controllable. And you can control it, and you can look after it, and you can move forward yourself, being completely empowered by your energy. So I think what you're saying, sort of going back to religion and Hollywood, I don't really think that's sort of done the reality of our work many favors. But the cynics, these people, I think, are very important to us. And certainly moving forward for the future, what do you think is needed now to assist in that process?
I think right now we really need to we have to change the culture of how we think of this as humanity. So this might be that fringe topic that's not easy to talk about, but our culture needs to provide a safe place to discuss this. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm here, is because you have to start with step one, right? So what I've discovered is there's all these islands of all these beautiful people doing all these amazing things. And you all are fantastic on your islands. And what I would like, if you're willing to do, is to truly just like keep building that pyramid on your island. I would like to send potential client to your website and have them never have to Google anything, because there's just so much information there. So you have some of these protection protocols or this protection sheet, but then I'm like, okay, well, what crystals, what meditation, what I mean? But just to have something that that you can rely on, right? Something that is a high quality, because you can get some of these different things from anywhere else. But if you are truly that peak of that pyramid on your island, and they know that you are the ultimate resource, and they're not going to have to go Google something because you've answered that question. Does that make sense? Is that a lot? No pressure.
No, I think that's certainly challenge accepted. I mean, one of the things, particularly with the meditations that you're talking about, we do have a free meditation on the SRA, spiritreleaseacademy.com website that helps with grounding. And we are in the process of getting a a list of what we would consider to be the most important meditations together. The biggest obstacle that Andy and I have for anything at the moment is time. But this is happening. We are going to do it. It is in our thought process. And sooner or later, that does mean that it will be on the website. But hopefully sooner rather than later.
We're on it.
We can do it.
Definitely.
We'll do it.
Yep.
We'll have a chat after this podcast and we'll get it all booked in. And it will be on there at a website near you. We'll definitely do that.
Perfect.
I think what you said, Kandise, is absolutely incredible. It's great to have the company of somebody as experienced as you in the academy, and your viewpoints are so valid. And you are, and also there are a couple of other practitioners as well that are becoming the missing link within the academy, something that we've been looking for so long. Dr. Palmer is a big loss, a very, very big loss for many, many different reasons. However, where there's a gap, we can fill those gaps. And this is where we see you. This is where we see a couple of the other practitioners. We had an excellent podcast with Miriam as well. And I think collectively, yourselves, with your knowledge, with your qualifications, with your understanding, as well as what we do on the spiritual side, I think that is going to be the perfect blend moving this forward. And I have no fear of skeptics in any way, shape or form, because they're the next people that are going to become believers as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's really
and they speak the loudest to advocate for what changed their mind.
They do. Absolutely.
And to be honest, I was a skeptic 20 years ago.
So was I.
So we both are those people. And I think from my perspective, Kandise, thank you for being open-minded enough really to join and have a look. Because when people open that door, what we realise is people like yourself are the visionaries of tomorrow. So Dr. P came, picked this up, developed it, obviously passed on, dropped it kind of in our laps really. And people like you are kind of the next people to pick that baton up now and to perfect.
Kandise, we're going to leave it with that because I think that is the perfect way to finish this podcast. So we're going to say goodbye and thank you so much for your time. So thank you so much for your expertise. And I'm sure that we will have another episode where we delve a little bit deeper. And we look forward to working with you through your certification and through the academy for many, many years.
Thanks, Kandise. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, morning, day, and we'll catch you again.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
This podcast is sponsored by the Spirit Release Academy. To learn more information about the Academy and their ongoing courses, please visit spiritreleaseacademy.com.